Over the last year, as we've been going through the Great Resignation, many people quitting jobs, reconsidering what do they really want to do with their lives. We've seen many people taking sabbaticals and breaks, some because they wanted to and needed the time to think and process. Others, maybe it was unwanted because of layoffs or job closings, or just for some people feeling confused about what do I really want to do with my life? Having that thought of if not now, then when? So, as thinking through the process of really, what do I want to do? How do I gain clarity of finding meaningful work? Research is showing us that for many individuals, it's not so much that they're worried about what they're doing, but the meaningfulness behind their work, the impact and the influence that they'll be able to have. Research that was put out with some tips by Dr. Kris Risley recently, she shared 8 steps to be able to gain clarity on finding meaningful work. So, for this week's Wellbeing Wednesday, let's talk through those specific strategies for individuals to really find that right connection with the right job for them to improve workplace well being as well as quality of life. And in turn, businesses see the ROI on that because individuals that are more engaged and feel like their work is more meaningful and have that why, then we see increased productivity as well as better overall well being. Step one that she talked about was assessing your level of satisfaction in your personal and professional life. Where are the areas that we can control and have the opportunity to create change versus the areas that we can't? Then being able to look and think through articulating our values. What's in alignment with what we really want out of life and what matters to us? When we gain clarity about those things, that helps us to better understand what we should say yes to and say no to, including the right job for us. Additionally, how do we identify our life purpose? It doesn't mean that it has to be perfect today and that it won't change, but at least starting to think through what we want to gain out of life and what our goals are, what we feel our purpose is for living our lives. And then being able to determine what are some of those limiting beliefs that are holding ourselves back. Instead of focusing on the things that we can't do, start looking at what can we do? What are these life affirming beliefs and the things, the fears that we've been holding on to that have kept us from pursuing challenges or pursuing a career that may be difficult, but something that we've always dreamed about and wanted to do. From there, how do we look at our natural talents? How do we take things that we are naturally good at and build on those strengths instead of constantly looking at our weaknesses in areas that we need to improve upon? And then, of course, the importance of harnessing that emotional intelligence, recognizing what's happening inside of us internally versus just focusing on everything in the external world and what everyone else tells us that we should be doing. Of course, it is important to stay connected to other people. We know that that is extremely important for social support, for those connections with ourselves internally, as well as with others around us. And then once we've examined these 7 areas, creating a plan. Doesn't mean that that plan will never change, but starting with it, having something and some starting point, and then being able to iterate over time. This will help us to gain clarity on finding meaningful work, more of that sense of purpose, and increased workplace well being. Be well.